Hi, this is Jim Musser with Upstream Ministries, and this is episode 40 on Views from Downstream. And this week, because it's spring and high school graduations are coming up, and students are starting to prepare for the after graduation life, which will for many include select where they want to attend, might attend. And so I want to spend the time talking about how to go about choosing a school, plus also just preparing oneself spiritually for attending a college. So I want to start out with just an assumption that many people make in their college choices, particularly Christians, and that is that the quote unquote secular university is a bad place to go. And I've talked to numerous people over the years saying, in effect, I would never send my child to a secular university, or I would never recommend to my youth group to go to a secular university. Now, there are a lot of true things about criticisms of the university. Yes, they can be very liberal, and yes, professors often seek to persuade young minds to their point of view. And there's two things about that choice you make. Is one, the choice is assuming that going to a Christian school will be so much better. And I can tell you from testimonies of Christian college graduates that things aren't what they appear to be often at a Christian college, that they have the same problems with sexual encounters, drinking, drugs, all of that. Because a lot of the kids who are attending there are being forced by their parents to attend. They didn't really sign up for that. It's not where they really want to be. And so, in a way, they're rebelling against that by doing what they want to do. And the Christian college or university is not going to talk about that because their selling point is that this is a safe place for your Christian young person to grow in their faith. And if they were to talk about statistics of drinking and sex, they would be shooting themselves in the foot from a public relations standpoint. So they're not going to talk about that. But it does happen there. There are a lot of bad influences that can be there on a Christian campus, and maybe even more dangerous because your students don't assume that's going to be the case and they can kind of be overwhelmed by it. Now, I'm not saying that it's necessarily always a bad option. What I'm trying to clarify is this idyllic idea that Christian colleges are great and they will encourage people in their faith and they will grow there. That may or may not happen, but is not the main basis on which you should make a decision. And secondly, we should be preparing our kids to live in the world, a world that's going to challenge them, a world that's going to cause them trouble. And they should be ready for that. And we should be preparing them in our homes for that reality. And third, the university is a lost place, but it's a lost place that affects our culture probably more than any other institution in the country. Every trend that you see in our society now started likely on the university campus. And so it's a mission field. And I've said many times before, the best missionaries at a college or university are the students that go there. And if we're sending strong, committed Christians to the university, we have the opportunity to impact that university from the inside out. And instead of just harping on how bad universities are, we can we can do what we can to change that. And I worked on a university campus for over 40 years, or nearly 40 years. And that place is a place where God is at work and in powerful ways. And if young people are looking to find God at the university and Christian community, they will find it. And it's not that the university is void of any kind of spiritual life. It is teeming with spiritual life. You just have to find it. And so what I want to do over this week is talk about how to prepare your students for that, because the reality is that most parents and students focus more on scholarships, tuition, housing, than they do on the spiritual resources that might be available to them. And without those spiritual resources, your child's faith is at risk, because it's like going into a desert without water. And you need those resources to survive spiritually and thrive spiritually. And so I'm going to be talking about that on Wednesday and Friday. So stay tuned. I hope you'll have an open mind, and I hope it'll be very helpful as you enter into the season of visiting schools and preparing to have your kids to walk on campus. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. Have a great day.